It's a pleasure to be here today. And I actually feel honored by all the welcome that has been presented upon me. It's truly an honor, and especially it's a privilege to speak to directly to so many young people who are ready to take on life and after completing their education and undergoing and learning education in management and learning about life in general. The topic that I'm going to talk about today is actually something very personal and something very dear to my heart. I have been on both sides of the divide. I have worked in corporates for about 7-8 years, and I have run MobiKwik now for about 6 to 7 years. And clearly, I've seen both sides. One being working for somebody, creating wealth and creating value for companies that I've worked with, and also starting off a new business, literally from scratch, from zero, with no business education, an engineering degree, and just really no experience in leadership, no experience in management at all. And what qualifies me to stand here and speak to you or advise you, is just the fact that for the last several years, MobiKwik and I and the company has actually grown from zero to where it is today, processing payments worth $1 billion, and with more than 300 employees in based in Gurgaon, and changing the way of how Indians pay, of, of transitioning this country from a cash-based society to a cashless society. But before we get there, this is a question that a lot of young people around me, wherever I live, where I work, come and ask me. I interview a lot of freshers before they join MobiKwik. Sometimes they join, sometimes they don't join, sometimes we don't, find the right fit. But this is one question that everybody asks. Especially in the India that we are living in today, every young person has this question, and graduating from a top college has this question. Uh, should I think I want to build a company of my own? I want to have a company of my own, or should I gain some experience, and uh, work in a work in established corporates and learn about business, about various aspects of business, before I take the plunge into starting a company of my own. And when I listen to this question, I always ask, why would you ever want to start a company? Why would you ever want to set up a business? And I think the most of the answers that I get, are not really very clear. It seems that there is a lot of attraction. There is a lot of there is a lot of fancy discussion around starting a company, around becoming popular. See Bipin Preet Singh, he's coming here, he's standing here and he's giving us a speech, so he must have done something right. That's why he's standing here, he's built a company. So is that the right reason for starting up? Or is it about money, that you make a lot of money once start a business? And I'll come to that, the answer to that. But really, if you look at becoming rich, or gaining, becoming really popular, or famous in your career, which could be some of the goals, a lot of, or it could be most of the goals that young people have today, you don't need to start a company. There are much probably easier ways, because you can always join a business. And Indians worldwide are known for their corporate skills, management skills. We have some eminent personalities sitting here. You see globally, the chairperson of Pepsi, she's an Indian. You see, software companies, Adobe, Microsoft, Google, Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, all these are people who actually worked their lives in corporate careers and rose through the ranks and went on to become leaders of global MNCs. So clearly, there is no one way to achieve success. And I would actually say that entrepreneurship actually is probably the hardest way to become successful. And I'm speaking from experience. Uh, when I started, I used to work in Noida in a company called Freescale Semiconductors. That was my last job. Before that, I had worked at Intel and NVIDIA. When I started, I was a young 22-year-old. I wanted to conquer the world, etc., etc. But then, get into a corporate career. You look at your managers. You're pleasing your managers. Do this work, that work, etc., etc. Change jobs, get higher salary. Next change, get better increment, get better title, right? Isn't that all? It's all about the corporate world, and eventually, after 7 years, when I looked at people around me, uh, people I worked with, I just realized that maybe where I am today, and the people around me, and the work that I'm doing, does that challenge me? Does that challenge me as a person? Do I want to be? I mean, I asked this honest question. I looked at my work, worked with a very capable person who also, passed out of IIT Delhi. I was also from IIT Delhi, but I looked at him. He was 6, 7 years my senior, and I asked him, "Do I want to be in his position 6 years, 7 years down the line, or do I want to be in the position of whoever is there out there, in working in that company?" And I didn't have to think for an answer. It was a clear, resounding, loud no. You know, and maybe I'm a misfit. Maybe I'm crazy to think like that, because why wouldn't you want to rise through the ranks and work through all the mechanisms of corporate business and become a top manager, a top CEO of any company in India or anywhere in the abroad. I think when I look back now, I'm actually doing many of the things that the managers in my previous companies used to do. Is I've learned that basically what I had was an itch. I was not satisfied, and in some ways, I am and I was a rebel, and that's the only reason that following that passion of yours, something that really touches your heart, really, you can't sleep day and night because that's one idea that you have, or it's just something that you want to change in this world. It could be in any field. It could be in technology. It could be in very simple, corporate, business. It could be very simple business. It could be in cement. It could be in traditional industries. But it's something that strikes you, and you make it your own personal mission. And that's where really the journey starts. That's where the journey started for me. I looked at all the people who recharge their mobiles in India, and I looked at the data of the number of people who go to a nearby shop to top up their mobile. Even today, more than 90% of India does that for topping up their phones, 50 rupees, 60 rupees average. And in a country like India, 100 million people, more than 100 million people do this every day. They do this every day. You can imagine, I mean, if you plot it in a graph and if you showed it in a map of India, imagine how that looks like. 100 million people every day going to a nearby shop to do what? To just top up their mobile. That's very, very inefficient, right? And then I looked at internet and I said, okay, I mean, this is internet, is this new thing. You should be able to get this service or make a payment for something as simple as this, just on your phone or on, at that time there were no smartphones. It was still early. It was we started on the PC, and of course the smartphones came later. But literally that idea, when I thought of that and I looked at the size of that market, and and the fact that there was no solutions around, I just went crazy. And I started this mission crazily. I told my manager that I'm quitting. He was, of course, quite mad at me, and I quit the next day, and and with no capital, with no family backing. I come from a fairly lower middle class family. In the 90s we used to live in a one-room house in Delhi, and then I got into IIT, and for me, and if I talk about myself or my family, I come from a family which has seen so much struggle. So we were in Rourkela, we saw riots happen, our business was completely shut down, and so for us and for my family, for my father, for my parents, the only thing out was education. That you have to go and get education, because that's the only asset you can build. And that was my commitment. I went and went and struggled and studied very, very hard to get into IIT Delhi with little coaching. I got into that, and then after that, the hope for the family was that I would be the leader of the family and I would earn a lot of money. I worked in MNCs, and 7 years is not a long time, to build a lot of wealth. Uh, Especially if you're coming from a not so rich family. And so, when I told this to my mother that I'm quitting, she was like, "Are you crazy? This is all we worked for. The family came together. We borrowed money, we did everything just so that you could go and study at IIT. We even paid hostel fees, which we could not afford. And for several years, I think she's fine now. The fact that I started MobiKwik, but until sort of 2 years ago, she was like, you're so talented. You should be you're from IIT. You should be earning crore salaries, working in some corporates. Why are you doing this? Why this crazy stuff? Why this crazy stuff where you don't get time to sleep? We still don't get time to sleep. I have a kid, and don't get time to spend much time with the kid. And weekends are all about work again. We sometimes still work, but it's a crazy life. We're just traveling here and there, going from one place to another. Why choose this for yourself? And again, I come back to the same answer. The answer is that it cannot be. Entrepreneurship is a pursuit which is very, very individual. It's very, very lonely, and the world conspires against you. Everybody, your family, your friends. You say, "Oh, you're starting a business? Why? You had such a good job. Why did you quit this job and start this?" And it goes on and on and on. So the answer for that I get from young people that I want to start a new company or I want to start a new business, it is absolutely the wrong one. You don't get fame, you don't get recognition, you don't become popular just by starting a business. What you get is everything which is the opposite of that. All you get is struggle. All you get is struggle. But really, some people are meant to love that. They just love the struggle part of it. They love just kicking butt for all the large corporations. In our business, for example, we had banks to compete with. I mean, come on, guys. It's still, you can't compare HDFC, ICICI, State Bank of India to what somebody like MobiKwik or other wallet companies are doing. But hey, within the boardrooms of HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank and State Bank of India, our name has been taken. Our name has been discussed. Hey, these guys, these are challengers. They are coming up, and the future might be there. So we should also launch a wallet. And you've seen that. And we have seen that, all across. I mean, you look at banks; they have launched their wallets, etc., etc. So I think this is really madness. Entrepreneurship is all about the fact that you're really having that craziness, that madness to build something new, and then also the conviction to take it through. A lot of folks, want to jump into starting a new company, seeing what has happened in the last couple of years, where a lot of companies got funded. So suddenly, when some company got funded, the relative would call up and say, "Hey, yeah, you got $5 million. You must be really rich right now." Which is of course not the reality, because the money is going into the business. It's not, that person is still earning the salary, and which I am as part of building a business. So funding and fame and recognition, it becomes it spreads too fast, and that to me has become sort of the reason of starting up. And if you see the last 2 years, many companies started, many companies folded up, but the ones who have withstood, the ones who are seeing all the business cycles, going up and down. I mean, right now it's up for MobiKwik after demonetization, but there was a long period where it was down. There was a long period we have struggled. I cannot think of any company, of any business, which was built without struggle, reaching a point where the founders ask themselves, why am I doing this? Why am I really doing this? It doesn't make sense. I should not be doing this. And then, come back from there and say, no, I have to do this. So to me, I think, that represents, a very unique opportunity in the country that we live in today. And it's definitely not for everyone. It's also, not for the weak-hearted. But if you look at the growth rate that we have in this country and the opportunity that exists, we have 6-7% growth rate, which is, we are the fastest growing country. We are receiving the maximum amount of FDI in this country. Technology, we are technology savvy. Everybody, speaks English. So really, in the world, at least in the world of technology, even in several other areas, the fact that we are growing so fast means that there is huge opportunity, which means that entrepreneurship can be financially rewarding as well, if you see it, if one has the conviction to see it through. Alternatively, once and it's fair to tell yourself that, hey, I'm not ready for this. But how do I get there? What do I need to learn? And to me, I think the opportunity, if you get an opportunity to work in a startup, that's probably the best opportunity you can get to learn a lot of things in a very short period of time, see the struggle firsthand, see whether it makes sense, see the founders crying, see them shouting, see the team going from one direction to another, and then decide whether this is really something that is something that you want to do. But really, even the folks who join startups are, in many ways, they are risk takers, because they have opportunity to work in established companies, but they specifically give up those in order to work in startups. And we, in our company, we have had several examples. To give you one example, there's one fresher who joined from a college based in Delhi, IIT Delhi, and he joined us as a fresher in 2012. Right now he's on a sabbatical. He created the first version of, or the first subsequent versions of, all the mobile apps for MobiKwik. One person, one fresher, right? And we're like, of course we couldn't afford to pay him a lot when he joined. So, if you're young and if you want to take risks in life, I think age is at your side. If you have the conviction, start up. If you don't think you're ready, by all means join a startup. Thank you.